a little tiny introduction, and I'll let you kind of tell the story. But just to clarify for everyone on the team, I don't get any kickback for you guys signing up for Teamzy. Okay. I know I'm like Teamzy. But Eric knows too that I've gone from using Teamzy to not using Teamzy to using Teamzy to not using Teamzy. However, 100% of the time when I use Teamzy and my team uses Teamzy, it is very good, quick, authentic, organic growth. And so I actually know Eric from Beachbody, and he'll tell you a little bit about how Teamzy came about. But this is now the third business that I've had a team using Teamzy on. And it just proves every single time, even if it's been like a week and I hadn't logged and then I go back for a day or two, like I instantly have orders. I instantly am reconnected to those people. You forget, you guys, as you keep going, you forget about conversations, you lose people. I would be way further than I am now, even in business, had I just every day stuck to what I know works. So thank you for taking your time for being here with us. And I'm super excited.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. And I love your story. You know, you and I have known each other a long time, like 6 years, more, 7 years almost.
Now, yeah, 7.
And so, and I see there's a couple of familiar faces on here too that I may have seen before. But, you know, the thing about Steph, you guys know she's a rock star, right? But she's also a human being. And so you're like the perfect testimony for Teamzy, because you're normal, you do great, and then you get inconsistent, and then you message me and say, oh my God, I got to get back on there, because you feel it. What happens is, I think too, and we'll go through this and I'll show it all to you guys, but I think what happens is the anxiety creeps in. Teamzy takes that anxiety and worry away, because you have a plan, you know, everything's handled, and it's like you can get busy but not feel that anxiety creeping in. And so a little cautionary tale for all of you, because you're going to be super excited for Teamzy by the end of this call, or I'm not doing my job right. And as you use it, you're going to see things happen. And what is a tendency is like, oh my gosh, I've got so much happening. Forget Teamzy this week. Let me just handle all these orders and get everybody signed up that wants to be signed up. And then you fall off the consistency, right? And so it's so important to make it just a daily habit. That's why we talk about power hours. And I wrote a book called Power Hour Boss, because it's about it's like, you know, you don't forget to brush your teeth anymore, right? It's something you do. But think about how many times your parents had to tell you to brush your teeth. How many of you raised kids? Like, how many times do you have to tell your kids to brush their teeth, right? We have a 22-year-old living at home still, all the way down to 5. And he'd probably be embarrassed for me to tell you this. We still got to remind him to brush his teeth. He's 22. It's like, what the heck, dude? Did you go brush your teeth? I don't know. Just go do it, right? So Teamzy is the same thing. Like, it's a habit. It's just something that you got to put in your daily routine. Once you get that down, you'll be singing forever. It's just going to keep going, right? Make sense? Okay. So I am excited to be here. And oh, it's cool to see. I got Kristen on here too, the other half of Activate. Wow, I feel like I'm in the presence of celebrities here. See this? Okay, it's all good. Let's just dive in. Yeah.
I'm excited for you to do your thing, because like a lot of people have not seen me actually using it. So it really makes sense after hearing Eric and his vision and all of that. And by the way, how many MLMs do you service now?
I don't know, about 100, maybe more.
Awesome.
We actually just started talking to somebody who does back office software for small MLMs.
Yeah. And
he's like, I would just love them to have Teamzy at the beginning. And he's got like another couple hundred small ones. You know, the thing is like we started, so that, you know, the way Teamzy started, we started with Beachbody. I was doing Beachbody. Steph was doing Beachbody. My background, just getting a little bit ahead of myself on my presentation, but my background is as a professional business coach and consultant. I've been doing that 21 years now. I've got a gray hair for every client. That's how invested I am. And helping people build relationship-based business. I got into Beachbody just kind of for fun. You know, 7 years ago, I lost a bunch of weight. I was excited about their products. I was already sharing it, but I wasn't getting paid for it. My wife said, go get paid for it. And so I signed up. And once I kind of looked at it for about 10 minutes, I thought, wow, It's an amazing business opportunity. I don't, coming from a background of helping people build businesses, I didn't need to have inventory. I didn't need to have a warehouse. I didn't need to have a staff. I didn't need to have a phone system. I didn't need to have anything to run a multi-million-dollar business, right? This is where the pastor says, can we get an amen on that one? Yeah, duh. So I started building the business as kind of a side hustle. And immediately I was like, oh my gosh, I need software or an assistant. I didn't have enough money to hire an assistant, so I needed software. I started looking for software, and it was nowhere to be found. There was at the time somebody had built a software program, and it was just cheesy. Can I just say it was just cheesy? Like everyone in our industry was trying to teach us how to go for no and just mass message people with these cold invite messages that were super cheesy and salesy. And that's not me. And that's not what I'd been teaching at that point for 15 years in my career. It was about creating authentic business relationships, right? And what I found was when we helped business owners create authentic relationships, they were able to sustain business growth, avoid burnout, actually enjoy, even more than enjoy, I said, find joy in their business, right? And not have to be beating bushes for leads for the rest of their lives. And usually it was like, I used to say that my clients washed up on my shores, like they came to me broken and limp from having tried all this other stuff. Here I come into network marketing. Okay, so since it's your team, Steph, I didn't start my slide, so I'm just gonna tell a story. I come into Beachbody. Do we have any Beachbody refugees on this call besides you and me? It's okay if you don't. So I come into Beachbody. It's my very first month. I have no clue what I'm doing. I haven't even looked at the comp plan. I heard one of the top coaches say on a call, like, hey, if you're just sharing the products and signing people up, you're good. Don't worry about the rest. So that's what I did. So I went in my first month, I signed up 10 people. I got what the Beachbody calls the diamond rank, which is like their, I don't know, third rank. It's like their first leadership rank. They put me into a group with other diamonds in my area. Right? You guys know how this works. So I get this call from somebody at corporate, real nice guy. And he's like, hey, congratulations. I'm like, what did I do? He's like, well, now you get to be on this really cool Zoom call once a week with other leaders. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to learn so much. So I come into this group. Everybody's like annoyed at me because I've been there a month, and they've been there years, many cases. And I have no clue. So they're talking about comp plans and legs and volumes. I'm going, what are you guys talking about? I guess I need to do some reading. And they say, well, Eric, you're just in time. We're doing a go for no challenge. We're doing a go for no challenge. I remember this one young lady from Texas was like, I'm going to message 300 people today. I was like, well, really? And they're like, yeah, here's the script we're using. We're going for it. And I'm like, what do you mean go for no? So they had to explain this concept. Have you guys heard this concept? Some of you have heard this concept. The idea is that, you're going to encounter a lot of rejection. And the rejection is like par for the course, man. You got to embrace the no's, they said. You just go for it. Like people are going to say no. And then you're going to get a yes. At the end of the day, like this lady's like, I'm going to message 300 people. I'm going to sign up a coach today. It's like, oh my gosh, that means you're planning for 299 rejections in one day. I don't think I could come back from that. Right? Can you guys relate to this?
Yeah, we were literally taught to cold message. There was little sheets with 100 bubbles and you had to fill that out. Well, I didn't do that, but they literally gave you a script to cold message to say, hey, like everything we teach you not to do, that's how most businesses have you do it.
That's the way
it's no for now.
Well, that's the way most trainers in this industry are, not just that company. Like that's the standard tactic, right? And I was obviously appalled by this. And here's the good news. I won the Go for No challenge, just so you guys know. I won it by not doing it. They were like, how did you do it? I'm going to show you exactly how, just right here in a minute. But I did not do the Go for No challenge. What happened to me was I immediately saw there was a need for relationship marketing, which I'm going to teach you about right now in network marketing. I was shocked that such a huge, vibrant industry was 40 years behind in how to do sales and how to do business. And you're taking people without sales training, without business experience, you're throwing them into this and you're giving them, it's like, sending people in the battle with a club, It's like, here you go into battle. You can win. It's like, what? They're coming up against tanks, right? They got clubs. So it was ridiculous. Not only that, disingenuous, gross, icky. That's why we have a bad reputation in our industry. And so it started really inspiring me to, to kind of like become an advocate for relationship marketing. And what happened was I had an opportunity in that group to we all had to do a training. There was like a Word doc and you had to pick a training topic. Well, I was the last one of the group. So there was only one left and it was recruiting. Nobody wanted to touch it. So I taught them a version of what I'm going to teach you right now. And they thought I was crazy and weird, but I will tell you this, 3 of those coaches on that call out of 25 private messaged me and said, that was the greatest training I've ever seen. Can we talk more? And they became accountability partners of mine, and they became testers of Teamzy when we launched it a year later. So that's kind of the story of how it happened. But I thought, you know what, we need more than just, if I'm going to teach people how to do this, they need to have a system to help them do it. So we built Teamzy. Plus I wanted it. So let me dive in and kind of teach you guys a little bit about this. Before I show you the actual software, I want to kind of explain a little bit more of this concept of relationship marketing, because it's key. And that's kind of why I went off on that tangent, because we want to teach you how to systemize your success with relationship marketing to become a power hour boss. There's 3 pieces. One is you can be really good at relationships like Steph is. She's great at connecting. She's great at talking to people. But what she needs to give her sanity and to keep her growth being steady is a system to follow, right? The system helps her to know what to do. It also helps her duplicate with you guys. And then the last piece here is power hour boss. We want you to be able to do this in less than an hour a day so you can have your life. That's the whole point, isn't it? Okay, so you already got a little bit of my story. I'm not a network marketing guru. I'm a business consultant and just applying these principles to network marketing. But kind of what happened to me was I was caught up in my career and I loved it. Do any of you guys have a job, in addition to your side hustle that you actually love? Like I loved my job, but I was always gone. I mean, look, I've got my mug that says be present. I never saw these beautiful people here in this shot because I was always working. And I would get up in the morning and leave. My kids would be in their pajamas. I'd kiss them goodbye. I'd come home in the evening. They'd be back in pajamas. I'd tuck them in. And it was like, my thing as a dad was bedtime ritual because that's all I was around for. And I really wanted more than that. I wanted to be present with my family all the time. I also didn't want to be worried about money. Anybody have that as a goal? Like, being rich would be nice. And honestly, like 20 years ago, if I looked at myself now, I'd say that's rich. But the point is I just didn't want to be worried. I got fired from my job after the best review I'd ever received from a boss because of the economy, right? Just laid off. And it made me feel powerless because I always thought, oh, I'll never lose my job because I do a great job. And I thought, nobody's going to have the power to lay me off again. Right. And so I dove into this business to really change my situation. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that. The challenge was, how am I going to fit this in? How am I going to build an empire when I already have no time? And so I wanted to figure out how to get this done in less than an hour a day. And that's why I built Teamzy. I started trying to work the relationship marketing system on a whiteboard. It didn't work. I mean, it worked, but it was unsustainable. Does this make sense? And my whole thing is that, hey, Steph, I made you an admin. So if anyone comes in the waiting room, you could let them in, okay? My thing is like working on paper or working on a notebook or working on sticky notes. It's like drinking water with your hands, right? I mean, you can quench your thirst, but you waste more water than you drink. Does it make sense? You can be successful, but it's exhausting. So that's why you need a system like Teamzy. Let me just give you a little background on Teamzy. It's just over 6 years since we launched it. We've had more than 150,000 network marketers use Teamzy, which is amazing. The truth is I don't even know the number anymore. I haven't updated these slides in a year. It's a lot of people, which is, amazing. Our active users are averaging 21 new customers and 9 recruits over 90 days. So 21 new customers, 9 recruits over 90 days. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. It's less than an hour a day. Less than an hour a day, 5 days a week. All right. So let's get back to the topic of relationship marketing. I just want to kind of introduce this to you. You need to understand this philosophy and the system that the software helps you work it. But relationship marketing is a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. It puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. Now, because I have been working closely with Steph for 7 years now, a lot of this is going to sound familiar. And she's going, thank God somebody else is selling this to them. You're going to see an alignment because you guys have already been attracted to this. Okay. Also, relationship marketing is not an abstract feel-good concept. It's a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. Okay. It's a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. How many of you just want to know what to do next? We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. Relationship marketing is a lead generation system. Well, that's a mouthful. Try to say that fast. Relationship marketing is a lead generation system. That's a system that initiates inquiry or interest into the products or services of business. Okay, so it's a mouthful. My point here is that you're the owner of the business, are you not? Yeah. How many of you have ever worked in a restaurant or bar at some point? Okay, good. So you guys have the world's best sales and service training already under your belt. But you know, when you work in a restaurant or a bar, your job is to serve the customer. The owner of the establishment's job is to bring you customers. Does this make sense? So you're both. In your business, you're serving the customers, but you're also you're also in charge of lead generation. As the owner, your job is to bring the customers to the business. So I want you guys to understand something. Sharing these amazing products is not your main role. You're in the lead generation business. That's your business. As the owner of the business, that's your business. Okay. And this distinguishes the difference between being busy and being productive in your day. Are you doing work that will generate new interest or new inquiry into your business? Make sense? Now, the next principle I want you to get down is this one, which is developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. So your role is to bring in leads and your duty is to deepen relationships with them. It's not just, we don't just deepen relationships so that we can get a sale or so that we can manipulate or so that we can move our business forward. It's our duty. I want you guys to think of it like that. It's like a sacred duty. It's like caring for your kids, right? You can't say I care for my kids out of love and affection because there are days where you don't feel that, right? But you fulfill your duty always. So our duty is building relationships, deepening relationships. So if you want to simplify everything I've taught you, you need to meet people and deepen relationships with them. That's how you build your business. Okay, but you need systems to do it. Why are relationships the focus and not sales and recruits? Because we want to turn relationships into advocates. By investing time in providing outstanding service. We turn relationships into advocates. Write the word advocates down if you're not taking notes. See, in the go for no approach, somebody says no, you throw them over your shoulder like a dead body and move on. Right? But as you guys know, most rational people will say no first couple times you talk to them. Right? How many of you said no to your spouse or significant other a few times? Yeah, they're persistent. It works. But here's the thing I want you guys to understand is that, you know, your opportunity, your products, they're not for everyone, but anyone can still be your advocate. And somebody who loves you and is excited about your mission will bring people to your business. So some of those no's could be huge advocates. The way businesses are built into empires is by creating armies of advocates. And so I want you guys to understand, we want to look past the, I need to qualify today to hit my bonus this month. Look past that towards the relationship and you'll never fail to qualify. Okay. I know I'm going deep. I feel like I'm in a deep mode today. I don't know what's going on. All right, here we go. Next principle, relationship marketing depends on trust. Relationship marketing depends on trust. In other words, if you're a jerk, this ain't going to work. And yeah, Kristen liked that one. You can use that on the next Activate podcast. It's okay. Okay. If you're a jerk, it ain't going to work. Here's the thing I want you guys to understand. A lot of what we're taught in our industry. So there's the old school, like go for no, you know, is like the bait and switch stuff that people used to do. Like, oh, I want to have coffee and catch up with you. You know, I really miss you. And then you pull out the binder, you know, at lunch and they're like, oh, no, it's a presentation, right? So like there was the old school bait and switch. And then there's like the new school stuff that we do on social media, stuff that's just a little bit disingenuous or tricky or manipulative. I want you guys to know, like, if you're going to do relationship marketing, it's all about trust. You can't do anything that's not genuine. So do those tactics work? My business partner, Mike Lopez, always says, every sales tactic works or people wouldn't use it. The question is, what's congruent with you, who you are, how you want to build your business and team, right? And what's going to get the best results. So if you're going to do relationship marketing, everything has to be authentic and real, no trickery, no. Does this make sense? How many of you are like, oh, that's good, I don't want to do any of that stuff? Yeah, it's good. You don't have to. I'm here to tell you, listen, I'm telling you guys, this system works better than anything else for the fastest results, most sustainable results. When people trust you, it's fun. You don't have to sell them. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to overcome a mountain of objections. You can get right to helping people, right? How fun is it when someone trusts you and they're like, yeah, just help me. Tell me what I need. Trust removes the ickiness from the sales process. You're never going to feel like an icky salesperson. Your friends and relationships are never going to feel icky after talking to you when there's trust built, when that's the focus. And instead of going for no, you're going for yes. You get to go for yes, and it's a process. So how do you build trust? I'm going to leave you guys with some actionable things you can take with you on how to build trust. And I want you to think about these things as you interact with people, okay? Because it's really important. People aren't going to just trust you. It has to be earned, right? I always tell my kids, beware anyone who says, trust me. They're usually not trustworthy. Beware anyone who says, I promise, or anyone who says, I swear, because those are people who are admitting they're usually liars, right? So it's important that we have to do it with our actions. So there's 4 essential ingredients to building trust. Number 1 is chemistry. I'll go through them quickly, then I'll explain them. Number 1 is chemistry. Number 2 is character. Number 3 is competence. And number 4 is consistency. Chemistry, character, competence, consistency. There's actually 7 C's, but we only have time for 4 today. These are the big ones. Okay. So chemistry is creating a connection with someone. Where do you have common ground with them? What is it about you they can relate to? Okay, so chemistry is creating a connection with someone. So the first thing we need to do is connect with someone. Now, why is this so important? There's an important principle behind this, and that's this. People want to do business with a friend. People want to do business with a friend, period. They don't want to do business with someone they don't like, and they'd rather do business with a friend. So the first thing we want to do is connect. By the way, connecting makes it more fun for you too, right? When you truly have a business of friends, isn't it amazing? Number 2 is, well, went too fast. Number 2 is character. Number 2 is character. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and you're relatable. So for number 1, I didn't give you guys any actions, but it's about connecting, finding common ground, asking questions, having a little chat with them, getting to know them a little bit, right? Reading through their social media, seeing what you have in common. You guys you're probably all pretty good at this part. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. So this is really important. I want you to see something about my definition of character. Character is not something you have. It's something you do. So we think of character as like, oh, well, if I look back on my life, I did more good than bad. I mostly told the truth. I'm pretty reliable, so I've got good character. That's not true. Character is what you're deciding to do right now. People are watching your actions. How many of you have known people or businesses that you felt like had good character, and then you realized you don't agree with their character and you don't want to do business anymore with them, right? This is a huge part of why people will trust you. You're the brand, right? So it's how you're demonstrating your care and that you are relatable. So, this is everything. This is how you follow up, how you communicate, how you post on social media, how you serve your customers, right? How you treat people in public. Tipping your bartender and servers really well is a good example of character, right? Things like that. We used to joke about how there's this, there's a special place in heaven for people who are good tippers. Jesus said that you're going to get your reward based on what you do as well, your reward in heaven. So I definitely think that there's going to be a wing for that. Just saying. Also, people who return the shopping cart at Target instead of leaving it in the parking lot, like that's another little area, right? I'm just saying. So I joke, but these are all parts of character, aren't they? How do you drive your car? Are you considerate of other people? How many of you have a big Modere bumper sticker on the car and you cut people off in traffic? Right? So I always say, if you're an aggressive driver, I'm an aggressive driver. I don't think there's anything wrong with being an aggressive driver, but I try to be considerate of others. But here's how you tame down your aggressiveness. And this is, I'm talking to Steph, because with all of her big 600 horsepower engines that she drives around in, right? So you put like a bumper sticker or a license plate frame that's a statement of your faith on your car. It forces you to be more considerate, right? So like my wife's license plate is faith, hope, and love. Makes her drive a little slower. She drives like crazy. Okay, so see, it works. All right, character, but the character is huge. People are looking at your character. People want to do business with a friend, but they also want to make sure that you're somebody who's going to care about them, right? Number 3 is competence. Competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. Okay, competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. So there's a couple pieces to this. It's not just being good at what you do. It's not just understanding and being good at the business. It's demonstrating it. Because you can't be secretly competent. People need to know you're competent. Does this make sense? I mean, think about how much you've grown as a person in the last, let's say, 5 years. So somebody who knew you 6 years ago isn't going to know about your competence, are they? So it's something we have to demonstrate. And this is huge, so it's like, you want people to know that you know your products, that you're an expert on them, you know why they're good, why they're helpful. So get educated. You have no reason not to. Learn as much as you can. And then learn about the business. Don't be like me and just don't know what you're talking about the first month. Actually, nobody cared about that. They just like to see that I was making milestones, but share what you're doing. It doesn't have to be that you're the top of the company yet for people to know you're competent. If you had a good month and got a free water bottle or tote bag from the company, show it off. You know what I mean? Like those little things. I have to tell you, like years ago when I did Beachbody, I won this like Beachbody Monopoly game. Did you know what I'm talking about, Steph? Do you remember that? It was a Monopoly game and it was all Beachbody themed. And it was a prize. And it was like for nothing. It was like signing up 3 people. And I did a thing on Facebook about this Beachbody. I mean, I did so much business. People were so impressed that I got this thing it was a nothing milestone. The point is they see milestones. They see you demonstrating that you're growing your business. It's huge. Are you guys with me? Then when you get a free vacation, then they're like, oh my gosh, you got a free vacation. So as they grow, you want people to see like, not everybody has a background in business where people respect you and know that you know this stuff. So you have to show them you're growing. Does this make sense?
We also got those bobbleheads. So like we get really cool gifts from Modere, but with Beachbody, we got bobbleheads of like Chalene Johnson and like all the trainers, and it was like, oh, look at my bobblehead. It was kind of creepy actually, because we had a whole gang of bobbleheads.
I still have bobbleheads in my cabinet. Yeah, I don't know what to do with them. I keep thinking maybe somebody over there will want these. Maybe I can eBay these later. It's all good. I still love Beachbody. I still do their workouts all the time. So, I can't say anything bad about those guys. They're good. Other than the fact that they didn't want me to be a coach anymore because of Teamzy. It's all good. Now I get to help Modere. So it was a blessing. Every door that shuts usually is a better one opening. So competence is important. People need to know that you're good at what you do. They need to know that you're understanding the business. Why are they going to join your team? Right? There's a lot of people to choose from. I need to know that you can help me. Now, real quick on these: chemistry, character, and competence. These are big. I mean, I don't know if you guys got the importance of these, but there's a principle behind these that I want to share with you. And this is a principle that you can use to really assess how you're doing in your business and also assess other companies you do business with. And it's this, that people only care about 3 things when they're going to do business with you. Here it is. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? And are you good at what you do? Now, if all 3 of these are a yes, I believe these are a yes, you've got an advocate, right? An advocate, someone who goes out of their way to tell other people about you and your business. That's what we want, an army of those. Now, if they're not sure, I don't know if I can trust you, or I don't really know if you care about me yet, right? So if they're not sure, they'll raise objections. Have you guys ever received objections? So an objection tells you they're not sure. What does that mean? It means yes, overcome the objection and get focused on earning their trust. Get focused on demonstrating your character and confidence over time. Make sense? So that you can grow them to be an advocate. Now, if somebody feels that these are a no, any one of these is a no, they won't do business with you. And they'll likely go out of their way to prevent other people from doing business with you. How many of you have ever written an angry Yelp review? Right? Okay, so Steph, raise her hand. Do you write 5-star reviews very often? You do. You're good.
I write a lot of 5-star reviews.
You're good. See, now I tend to only write a review when I'm pissed off. Right? And so I think I'm probably more typical. I want to write the 5-star review, but it's like, okay, I'm not as motivated or as passionate about it as when somebody wrongs me. Right? So just keep this in mind, you guys. It's so important that we're constantly conscious of this. Can I trust you? You care about me? Are you good at what you do? And it could be something small. It could be something small that makes people feel wronged. It could be that you blew off, that you got the time wrong. I thought I got the time wrong today, by the way. I got so confused, Steph, because the last message was about our meeting that we're going to have next week at 11 instead of 11:30. And I was like, oh my gosh, nobody's here because I was supposed to be here 30 minutes ago. So anyways, that would have been an example of me breaking trust, right? I would have had to really invest time to make up for that. So just keep that stuff in mind. Number 4, I got to move this on so we can get to Teamzy. Number 4 is consistency. Got to be consistent, right? You can't earn trust if you're not consistent. Now, the opposite of consistent, this is really interesting. If you guys are, I get into the definitions of words. The opposite of consistent is unpredictable. So you have 2 choices. You can be seen as someone who's consistent and trustworthy, or someone who's seen as unpredictable. Right? That was like a wake-up call for me when I saw that. But here's what I want you guys to know. When you're consistent, people will trust you. They'll see you being consistent. They'll know you're reliable. There's also a principle behind this that I love, and that's this. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. This means that when you're consistent, not only will they trust you, they'll be attracted to you. They'll want to join you. How many of you love being part of this team? Because you see people striving consistently, improving themselves, improving their lives, right? And it's not something that's normally happening out there. You know, people come home and they watch TV or they play video games or they just do mindless, useless things with their time. And so when you see people trying to build, it's like, wow, I want to be part of that group. Does this make sense? So being consistent builds trust. It also builds your tribe, and you'll see as you go. All right. So my big question for you is, are you consistent with your relationships? Usually I ask, oh, do you use your products? And everyone says yes. Are you posting on social media? Well, I hope so. But are you consistent with your, let's just skip to the meat. Are you consistent with your relationships? We've talked about how relationships are the key to the business, right? So why aren't we consistent with this? And what do I mean by this? I mean, staying in touch with them, staying in touch with people. This is how we build a business, is by staying in touch and connecting with people on a regular basis. Now, I want you guys to understand relationship building is a contact sport, which means you have to be in regular contact with people. You have to be in regular contact. If you want to build a relationship, that's how you do it. You just stay in contact. Now, I know your time is scarce, which is why we built Teamzy, to make it easy to do this. So it doesn't take a lot of time, but it's the key piece. It's the key piece is staying in regular contact with people, checking in with them. Here's the principle on this. This is the big principle of the day. So make sure you get this one down. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. And I would probably even add a word after connecting. I'd use the word personally. Investing time and connecting personally with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Now, really quick on this before we jump into Teamzy. Let me look at your faces. Are your cameras on already, you guys? Mostly. Okay, good. So the few people I could see, it's great. If I don't see a face, it's like, who am I talking to, right? I got to see your faces. Let me just ask you guys a quick question. How many of you have ever received like a card or a letter from somebody you love that had that handwritten message in it? And when you read it, it was just like, oh my gosh, just hit you right in the heart, right? Everybody, hopefully. If you're shaking your head, put your address in the chat. We're going to all write you one to make you cry today, right? It could be somebody that you live with every day. Maybe, maybe it's your spouse and they say, I love you every day. But when they write it down in a card, isn't it more meaningful? You know, it's amazing how that happens. Okay, so I think everyone said yes that I can see. Second question is, how many of you have kept that card? You saved it. Okay, who's got a stack of these somewhere, like a stash, right? Everybody. Isn't this amazing? Everyone I talk to, we save them. I mean, I've got 4 kids. I actually have a bin for each one of my kids because I had one and then it filled up, and then and my 5-year-old is a major producer of cards. She made me 6 Valentine's Day cards for Valentine's Day. I'm like, man, I need a bigger bin for you if you're going to do multiples. But my point is, we save them, we treasure them. Now, I've got another example here. These are happy birthday postcards. You ever get these? These are from these particular ones are from my life insurance salesperson. He sends me a happy birthday. I'm glad you didn't die. I didn't have to pay that premium out, right? I don't know. I get these, right? But you guys get these, right? From businesses, whatever. Is it nice to get a happy birthday postcard from someone? Maybe. Do you keep these? Who's got a stash of these? Who uses one of these happy birthday postcards as the bookmark in the family Bible? Anyone? But people do keep cards and letters in their Bible, don't they? Yeah. Okay. So why is it that this doesn't have the same impact? This doesn't mean as much to us. So going back to our principle, you guys, if you want to deepen a relationship, you have to invest time and connect personally with someone. This required no investment of time. It's a bulk mail out, right? It doesn't even have my name. It just says happy birthday to you. And then on the address, it says Johnson. So there's 6 Johnsons at this house, right? Like, who is it for? It's not personal. It requires no time. It violates both parts of that principle. No time invested. We put no value on it. It's not personal. It doesn't connect to me. But when somebody hand writes a message in a card, you save it forever. Why? Because they invested time in you. And it was personal to you. You see what I mean? The relationships deepened. It meant a lot. And this talk isn't about writing personal notes to people, though if you can find reasons to write personal notes to people, you should do it because they'll save it forever. I mean, let me see if I have these right here. I thought I had them right here on my desk. Yeah, like I had cards made. This is something you guys can do really inexpensively, but have cards made. You know, so this is a piece of the Teamzy logo, like a design of the Teamzy logo, and it just says Teamzy and it's a blank card. Like, have some stuff like that made. You guys are way ahead. Woo, woo. Okay, great. Preaching to the choir. We'll move on. So the point here is you gotta invest time and connect with people. And that's how we deepen relationships, which is the key to building our business. So how do we do this in a time efficient way? That's the way we use Teamzy. Okay, so we're going to show you how you can connect with 15, 20 people in less than an hour each day. And from their end, they're going to perceive this is a real connection. It's with me, and they invest in time in me, which is something people are not doing for other people. It's going to make a big impact. How many of you have already used Teamzy a little and you're like, oh my gosh, the response been insane. One of the things people always tell me is they message me back and say, I can't believe how people are responding to this. Well, because people are lonely. And you took time out of your day to reach out to them. It makes a big impact. Make sense? Okay. All right, let's get back in. Let's get into Teamzy and take a look at it. I think I'm pretty much done with this slide presentation. So we got that. There's the principle. Make sure you screenshot that or write it down if you haven't already. This is all great. How many of you guys are like, philosophically, Eric, I'm with you. I agree. Yes, let's do this relationship marketing thing. But it's more than just philosophy. You got to have a system. You need a system, a way to stay in contact with all your relationships, to know when to contact people, to know what you're going to say, and to make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. So in other words, we're going to stop drinking water with our hands, right? Okay. So I've got Teamzy set up over here. Let's see here. So first of all, as I'm pulling up this screen, you guys can go to teamzy.com and you can get a free trial started. You can get a 2-week trial for free. So everything I'm showing you today, you could do today. Okay. And we won't ask for your credit card number or anything weird for your free trial. We just want you to use it and love it. Okay. When you go in, it'll ask your business and make sure you select the Modere version because there's a custom version for you. Okay. So once you've logged into your free trial, this is what you'll be looking at. This is the first screen in the free trial. We call it the setup wizard because I'm not a very techie person. Anybody not that techie? So just like full disclosure, people are like, you must be really techie. I've learned a little bit of technical stuff in 7 years of owning this company, but I'm not techie. In fact, when I worked in my job, I hated using the CRM. So I had to build one I liked. So if I like it, you guys will like it. And if I can do it, you can do it. But this is really simple. I call these clobber buttons. Like if you can make it with its clobber buttons, I can't mess up, right? So there's a little video from me. We'll skip that. You can subscribe to Facebook Messenger if you want, great. But this is where I want you to look at, the first screen I really want you to look at. You're gonna set an income goal. So what's your income goal for next year? Okay, what's your income goal for next year? Because we gotta do some work to get there, right? So my goal was 150,000 when I started, but you can go higher and you can go lower by sliding this little dot. But notice what happens when I slide it. It changes the targets. Those are my daily targets. So at 150, which was my goal, my target is to connect with 9 prospects, 6 of my customers, and 4 social marketers on my team. Okay, 5 days a week. Make sense? And what's cool about this is now I know if I just can do that consistently for a year, I could hit my goal. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue. So we're going to know what you're going to know is exactly what to do. So that's a major anxiety taken out, right? You can actually be done too in the day. The next step is you want to get all your contacts into Teamzy. So no more sticky notes, pads of paper, spreadsheets you forgot to update. I don't know, whatever other systems you guys are playing with that you've got 6 different ways that you've tried to track. You got one place now, it's cloud-based, which means it's in your phone, it's in your computer, it's in your sister's phone, it's wherever you need it, it's there, okay? So you don't need to take someone's contact down on a napkin. You can pull out your phone, put them right into Teamzy. Now, beyond being super organized by having your contacts in one place, including your social media contacts, right? Followers and things. Teamzy does something special with these contacts, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. It actually cycles them through so that nobody ever falls through the cracks, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing I just want to highlight before I move on is if you want to like get your Facebook friends into Teamzy, we have if you use Google Chrome to do that, you can just do it with one click. It just automatically scrapes it for you. So
what do we do? We noticed that at one point there was an extension for Instagram because some of our girls are mainly on Instagram. So can you just help us with that part too while you're explaining this?
Yeah, so the Instagram extension didn't work right. Instagram
Doesn't like it.
Instagram limits it to 1,000 contacts. So if you have more than 1,000 contacts, you can't get your list through that. But there is a way to get Instagram. If there's an instruction in our help center on how to get your Instagram people imported in. But the challenge with the extension was it would pull 1,000 only, and Instagram randomized the 1,000. So you'd get a random 1,000 of your followers into Teamzy, which I guess could be useful, but we figured it'd be better if you could get them all. Or if you guys are like massive Instagrammers, you've got huge followings, like let's say you have more than 5,000 followers on Instagram, I wouldn't recommend importing all of them into Teamzy. Mm-hmm. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. So what I would do if that's your situation, and probably have a few of you on here, what I would do is each day as you're interacting on Instagram, I would bring a few people that you're talking to into Teamzy each day and interact with them. Does that make sense? And so we used to do this when I first started with Beachbody. We had a lot of Instagram people that were really into Instagram. And so we would do this thing where it was like, okay, well, if you're bringing over, let's say you meet 5 people on Instagram today, bring them into Teamzy, tag them as an Instagram connection, and see if you can warm up the relationship over time. If you can't get anywhere with them, you don't have to leave them in there, right? So it's like a cycle. But here's, as I get to does that make sense? I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to distract people and think that's what I'm teaching them to do. Yeah. So let me get into my Teamzy here. Here's what I will tell you is that you want to start connecting with the people you know the best first. Yeah. So before you go running off trying to meet strangers on Instagram, first we need to connect with our relationships that we already have. So 85% of your business is going to come from the relationships you already have. 15% of your business will come from people you haven't met yet or other types of marketing. So you should also prioritize your time the same way. 85% of your energy should go into the relationships you already have. And if you have leftover time and energy, then try other stuff. Make sense? Okay. The other thing that people always say to me is like, well, Eric, I have to do that because I've gone through my warm market. How many of you guys are thinking that right now? Okay, so the gone through your warm market is part of the go for no philosophy that doesn't apply in the real world of real people having real relationships. Okay, when you've gone scorched earth on the people you know with some cheesy script and you've made them feel icky and they've made you feel icky, that doesn't immediately negate the whole relationship you've had with that person forever. All it takes is just a simple apology. Hey, I just noticed that, last year I was excited about my business. I was maybe a little overexcited. I'm sorry if I came off too strong. Want to apologize for that. Can we just start over and be cool, right? Like a simple little apology message, people will be ready to go again. So if you think you've gone through your warm market, you haven't. You might have abused them a little bit and you can bring it back if that makes sense. But the most important thing is that we want to go to the people who trust us the most. The system is built on trust. Okay, you're with me. All right. So here's Teamzy. Just real quick, I want to just quickly give you a fast little tour of the dashboard. Of course, if you're on your phone, it's going to look a little bit different. It's going to be, phone shaped, but you can use Teamzy on your phone. It's not an app, it's a website, but it's adaptive. It works great on your phone. But I'm showing you on my desktop. So first thing I want you to see is at the top, this bar that says today's activities. Do you guys see that? So today's activities are the goals for today. So this is based on my goal of 150,000. Your goal will be based on your dashboard activities will be based on your goal. So you'll all have a customized dashboard view here. And so Teamzy is telling me today, Eric, you need to connect with 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 social marketers. What do I mean by connect? Just reach out and make somebody's day. Just reach out and make somebody's day. Okay. I'm not trying to talk to them about Modere. Just reach out and make somebody's day. That's our goal. We have to, so there's 4 steps to being in momentum in this business. The first one is starting conversations daily. Okay, so by reaching out to make somebody's day, you start a conversation. When you cold script somebody, you end a conversation, sometimes a friendship, right? So we just reaching out to make somebody's day, makes them smile. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. It feels great doing that. And now they respond and you can talk. You can just be a normal person. I've also got a goal to share. My goal was 3 a day. That's just because it was beat into me, but your goal should probably be somewhere between 1 and 3 shares a day. And a share is where you share the business opportunity, you share product solution with somebody. Make sense? But you're not going to share with every conversation. It's just not appropriate yet. So the goal might be 1, might be 2, might be 3. And then I've got a goal to add new people to Teamzy every day. So those are my daily actions. You need to add new people all the time because you need fresh energy. A business is like a beautiful lake. Without fresh water, it gets stagnant, right? So you need fresh water. Even if you're like, well, Eric, I already know 25,000 people. It doesn't matter. If you're serving those people right, correctly, the way I'm showing you today, they're going to be introducing friends, family. You're going to be getting new people and putting them in there. Okay. Does this all make sense? Great. So let me scan down a little bit because I want to show you this part where it's the Power Hour module. Okay, the Power Hour module. So you've got all this. Let me move her down. So the Power Hour module, what it does is it takes all the people that are in Teamzy. You've got all their information, all their contact. It records everything, but it tells you who you need to connect with right now today. So you don't have to dig through all that information. It just brings it to you. And what it does is there's 4 lists in the Power Hour module. There's prospects, customers, social marketers at your team, obviously, and then your follow-ups that are due. Okay. And each list, it'll tell you on the left who to connect with. On the right-hand side, you log the message that you sent. So it's tracked as you go. Right? Pretty easy. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. But here's what happens. Notice next to their names, like Steph's a 5 and Amy's a 4. Those are how many stars I've given them. So we have a simple rating system, 5-star system, right? 5 stars are going to be prioritized first. They come up first. And what happens is every time you log a connect with a 5-star person, they come back up on this list in 30 days. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to set a reminder. You don't have to set a follow-up. They just come back. 4-star people come back in 60 days. 3-star people come back in 90 days. 2-star people come back in 120 days. So this allows you to stay in touch with a large list at the right sequence. So the people who you like the most, you'll talk more often. The people who barely know you, if you message them every week, they're going to think you're weird. So you might message them every 3 months. Make sense? But it helps you stay in touch with people. I want you guys to think about your list of relationships like an orchard. Right. So if you walk into an orchard, I've got a little small one in my backyard here of citrus trees. I'm in California. So if you go back there right now, I have one tree full of fruit. I mean, it's so full of fruit, they're falling on the ground and rotting. But I have other trees that are just, it's February, right? It's winter. Hey, it's California. What do you want? I've got other trees that are buds, like they're flowering. Right. So which tree would I go to right now if I wanted fruit? I go to the one that has fruit. Right? So that would be like a 5-star relationship. But those trees that have beautiful white flowers right now, those are going to have fruit on them, aren't they? But they might be like a 3 or a 4-star right now. They don't have fruit yet. Does this make sense? So what am I going to do with them is I'm going to water them, make sure they have plenty of sun, fertilize them. And this is what we're doing with our relationships. We're building those relationships. And so everybody's in a different stage of relationship, which is why we use this system. Okay, so let me just show you how to do a power hour really quick, and then we'll go to Q&A because I've been talking a long time. So you're going to start with your prospects. You're going to work from left to right. Just always work from left to right. Right now, it seems obvious. 2 weeks from now, when you have a bunch of hot leads on your follow-ups list, you're going to want to start there, but always work from left to right, because here's what happens. If you stop starting conversations, remember step 1 of momentum is starting conversations daily. If you get busy and stop starting conversations, your pipeline will dry up so fast. Does it make sense? So you want to be just slightly overwhelmed all the time. I just want you guys to understand that success feels that way. You're going to be feeling slightly overwhelmed all the time. That's what success feels like. Now, unsuccessful people feel overwhelmed also, but they're overwhelmed with worry and anxiety. Successful people are overwhelmed with opportunity. So you choose your overwhelm. Which one do you guys want? Just slightly overwhelmed, not hair on fire, just slightly, because you've got so many prospects happening. So we want to start with connecting with prospects. So Steph's the first person on my list. I'm just going to send her a message. My goal is to make her day. And you can message them however you want, Instagram, Facebook, text message, whatever, however you talk to people. Does this make sense? She and I go back, so we're Facebook friends. So I'm going to message her on Facebook. So here we go. What am I going to say to her? How do I do this? So we used to get this all the time. I do these team calls, like, Eric, when you did the team call, it seemed so easy. And then I got in front of Teamzy and just stared at the screen. So I put all my scripts in Teamzy for you. And what I found is like, these scripts work for everybody, not just me, right? They work for everybody. So if I go to scripts, I want you to see where I'm circling. See where it says scripts? You can get an idea of how to make your day just simple. And you can choose what kind of script you want. I'm going to use Facebook. And I'll just pick the first one on the list. It says, hi, Jane, just stopping by to say hello. How are you? Hope your day is awesome. Okay. So I'm going to copy that script. Now, her name's not Jane. I might have some explaining to do if I send her Jane. So I'm going to just change the name. Okay. You get the idea. And then, I don't know, you put your favorite emojis in there, whatever you want. Just personalize it a little bit. Okay. You get the idea. And once you have it the way you want it, copy it and then go send it to her however you're going to send it to her. Now we're on Facebook, so I'll just go to Facebook, look her up. Look, we're already talking. So I'm just going to paste it right in there. There it is. Send the message. Okay. So the message is sent. Don't overthink it. Don't get to this point and overthink it. Send it. Okay. Because we're not having a deep conversation. It's just that kind of message is going to get a response. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. My wife and I were joking about this the other day because I've got people using Teamzy, in many cases for many years, like Steph. Like I could actually send Steph that message. And if it's been a few months and she wouldn't respond like, ha, 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 you sent me script number 1 from Teamzy. She would just respond like, oh my gosh, great to hear from you. And it always cracks me up. I said to my wife, Lisa, I go, nobody ever says you used your script. They're always just like, oh my gosh, great to hear from you. And they start giving me the update. Isn't it funny? It's like, we don't even think about it. It's just so simple and to the point. Okay. So how you log this is you make sure you log what it was, Facebook message, and then click the big blue log connect button, done. So notice I've got 1 done, 8 left. The circle's starting to fill in. And now she's off my list. My list has moved up 1 notch. Where does she go? She's back in the Teamzy flow. She'll come back in 30 days. So if she responds, we'll have a conversation. If she doesn't respond, I'm not going to think about it. I'll just message her again in a month. With me? Okay. Next is Jay. Same thing. I'll use the same script for efficiency and quickness. Change the name to Jay. Now it's really important that you always start a chat with their first name in the message. Okay. Don't shortcut this and say sweetie or friend or girl, because then it's cheesy. You want to make sure it's a personal connection. They need to know it's to them and not some blast app you bought. Are you with me? So you don't have to use their name every time you message them, but the first time you start a chat each time, use their name. So I'm going to look up Jay. We're going to message her. It's super easy. Okay, I'm sending her the message. Done. Toggle back over here. Log it in Teamzy. Jam, jam, jam. 2 done, 7 left. I'm going to work my way down the list. I'm going to work my way down the list. By the way, just a little side note, Steph, do you know Mindy Baxon? I'm going to introduce you guys. I think you guys would be good friends.
Okay, cool. She's
in Modere. Yeah, you never know. You can always make connections, right? Yeah, I think you guys would be good friends. I'm gonna introduce you guys after this call. Remind me. Okay. All right. Where were we? So when you're done with you're gonna keep going down your list. Simple. Just send a message. Just sending the messages. During your power hour, you're not responding to messages. You're just sending. Okay. So when they start responding, like, discipline yourself to wait till you're done sending your messages before you go back and have the conversations, or it's going to be like the squirrel in front of the dog thing where you're just not going to get it done. You're going to be off on 1 conversation. Make sense? Okay. So work your way down the list. When you're done with your goal, my goal was 9. So when I've sent 9 messages, the circle will be filled in blue. That's my visual cue. Done with prospects. Move on to customers. All right. Any of you new and don't have customers? If you don't have customers, just add this number to prospects. Okay. So in my case, it's 6 customers. So I would just keep going 6 more prospects. Okay. Simple. So customers, people that are just buying from you, they're members, they're doing the thing, like stay in touch with them. Just stay in touch with them the same way. Your goal is still just to make their day. It's not to try to sell them more or whatever. Why is this so important? And I know half of you guys raised your hands that you've waited tables or worked in bars. So you get this. Being present, when you're present and stay in touch, they order more and they retain longer, right? So they order more and they retain longer. These are not new concepts. You know, I waited tables for years. Like I went to college, waited tables, graduated college, waited tables. So you guys relate? And, you know, it was like, I had like this business coach mind. So I used to measure my average per person spend. And I used to say, you know, I'm like, I was at the time in the restaurant, I was like $26 per person spend, higher than the average staff. And I was excited about that. Why do you think that was the case? Do you think I was a salesperson? No, I was present. How's everything? Are you guys having a great time? Do you need another glass of wine? How are you? Did you save room for dessert? Even if you didn't, you need to try this dessert. It's the bomb, right? So as you're talking to people, as you're connecting with people, just staying in touch with them, statistically, they're going to order more product and they're going to retain longer, which is what we need to build up our volume, right? And it's a better experience for them. They love it. They're having a great time. They love the service. They're enjoying the products. This is the best thing. Are you with me? So Luis comes up. I send him a message. Great. I'll go to my scripts. I'll grab a message for a customer, something like this. Hey, John, except it'd be Luis. Hey, Luis, how are you enjoying the product? So what is he using? Please take out the word, the products, out of brackets and put actually what he's using. Okay. You ruin it if you leave the products in there. So how are you enjoying, you know, send me an update. Let me know how I can be of help. This is a great script, by the way, if you haven't messaged your customer since they ordered. It just reestablishes contact in a simple way. One of my favorite ones, though, for customers, this one. Hey, Luis, just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Why not just tell them why you're doing it? Okay, so just the goal here again, the goal here again is to message your customers, whoever's up next, until that circle's pink. When you've sent your messages to your customers, then it'll bring up your team. Now you're going to message your team. By the way, messaging your team is mega important, because that's why we named it Teamzy, by the way, not cheesy or leadsy. It's Teamzy, because if you don't build a team, you're not going to get the business that's going to give you the life that you want. Make sense? And you do all these things I'm telling you, prospects, customers. I'm going to show you how to follow up in a second. That's going to build your team, but they're going to quit. They're going to quit. People quit this business like crazy. The turnover rate, people don't want to talk about it. Nobody's training on retaining, but this is important. You work really hard to bring people onto your team and they get discouraged and they quit. What's the number one motivator? The number one motivator is relationship. So if you stay in touch with your team, if you invest in them, if you show that you care, if you're present for them, if they feel connected to you, they are going to stick with it longer. You have more chance of helping them be successful. Does this make sense? And I'll never forget when we were doing Beachbody, the last year I was in Beachbody, we did this like Caribbean cruise. And it was like, I think you were on that cruise, weren't you, Steph? Yeah, where it was like this huge ship. It was like the biggest ship in the world. And the whole thing was Beachbody coaches. And so it was really awesome, actually. And we went on this cruise and I'm walking around with Teamzy t-shirts. People are like, you're the Teamzy guy. You're the Teamzy guy. And I remember talking to this coach. She had just hit a pretty high rank in the company. She was qualifying 5-star diamond, which was pretty impressive at the time. That's like at that time, that was like a 6-figure income. And that was great. You know, she was super excited and we were talking and I was like, wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. And I asked her who her upline was. Her upline was one of this like superstars. That's actually a word they use in their network, superstars, right? So it was somebody who was kind of a celeb, and they have this weird culture where like the top people are like worship like movie stars. Like you can't touch them. You can't talk to them, you know, like they might do a selfie with you and then move on. It's just weird. But anyways, I said to her, I go, wow, that's really cool that person is your upline. That's, you know, your sponsor. I said, do you talk to her much? Now, this is like, how many of you would be so stoked if you had a person on your team who just leveled up to 6-figure income? They're building a team, like a strong team. Like I'd be all over that person. I'd want to take them to dinner. I'd want to be on, right? Like I want to nurture that person. She goes, not really. I mean, if I need her, I can set an appointment to talk to her. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, what would it feel like if your phone buzzed right now and it was a text from her that says, you're amazing. You just qualified 5-star. I'm so proud of you. How would you feel? And this person, she started crying. We were sitting literally on the deck of the ship overlooking the ocean, you know, just talking. She started crying. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I don't know why I'm crying. It was like an emotional thaw, like was released, right? She obviously was hurt that this person could care nothing for her. Does that make sense? Now, was it true that this person didn't care for her? Probably not. The person probably was excited for her. She probably loved her. I mean, I don't know. But this person didn't know that because she didn't reach out. She didn't stay in touch. How easy would it have been for her to just send a text like that every couple of months? So this is why your team's in here, you guys. Now, if you're new and you don't have a team, that's okay. Add this number to prospects too. But this is where you're headed, to build the culture. When somebody joins your team, they've joined something special. It's not something to be thrown away cheaply. And you make it special by connecting and staying in touch with them. Are you with me? Yes. Okay, good. If anything, I've reconvicted Steph to all this, which is good. So I see her. I got her. She's tracking with me. So prospects, customers, social marketers, the first half of your power is just sending messages to make people's day. My goal was 19 people total. That's like 15 minutes for me in Teamzy. It might take you 30 if you're new. Don't overthink it. Send the messages. You're done. The second half of the power hour is the follow-ups list. So when I get to my follow-ups list, it's empty. They're not automatic. You got to like set the follow-ups. So why do we need to set follow-ups if everybody cycles automatically in Teamzy? The follow-up is specifically designed for when you've shared, right? So I'm starting a conversation. We're having some chat. Oh my gosh, great to hear from you. How are you? Right? It's just chat. Like if you're in person, like, how have you been? What's going on? Tell me what's going on with your family. Send me an update. What are you guys doing these days? How was your move? You moved, whatever. People are moving a lot right now. What's going on? Tell me what's happening. So it's just a chit chat. And at some point in your chit chat, you're going to, just be really interested in them. That's the best thing I can say is be interested in them, find out what's going on with them. And then they're going to expect you to give them an update on what's going on with you. Right? So simple. People are just like, oh my gosh. I have to tell you guys, like I do these boot camps and trainings, that additional training schools and things that I offer through Teamzy, and they're amazing. I mean, that's like my passion project. People pay decent money to come into these. And the number one thing they want to know is, how do we talk to people? How do we have a conversation? How do we keep a conversation going? Which surprised me. We had to retool our trainings as people were like, how do we have conversations? So I just want you guys to know, like, just be interested in them, get their update, give your update. Your business is part of your update. Don't be afraid to say it. Okay. I got a new puppy. He just turned 1. He's usually in the call with me, but he's not in here today. He's actually scratching at the door. He's 100-pound Roddy, 1-year-old. I've got 4 kids. We're doing this. Oh, did I tell you I started a new home-based business with Modere? It's that simple, you guys. It's just part of what you're doing. Don't overthink it. Now, the thing is, you want to tell them what you're doing. Oh, it's this amazing company. It does this, this, this. And the reason why I love it is because of this. So you tell them why you love it. You tell them why you're passionate about it. That's it. Does it sound like I'm trying to sell you anything? No. Here's what's going to happen. If you tell people what you do and why you're passionate about it, they're going to be happy for you always. Oh, that's great. Cool. Good for you. It takes the threat out. Right? And the first thing we want to do in that conversation is educate them on what you do and why you're passionate about it. So what do I mean by what you do? Like, what's the problem you solve? How do you help people? So when I was with Beachbody, it was, I don't know if I told you, I haven't talked to you in a while, but I lost 60 pounds. Wow. Good for you. Yeah. I did it with this company called Beachbody. Have you heard of them? I love it. And so now I'm actually working with them to help other people do it. And it's been very rewarding. People are like, oh my gosh, that's great. So when you get them to a point where you've told them what you do and why you're passionate about it, this isn't part of my Teamzy training today, but just giving you guys a little extra. Then you just ask them, yeah, let me know if you'd like to learn more about it. Or if you have any friends or family that need more information, let me know. Right? Pretty easy. So Steph being my guinea pig today, we're having this conversation. She goes, wow, that does sound cool. Yeah, maybe I would like to learn more about it. Okay, great. So the next step for me then is to get her now off chat and get her on conversation. So awesome. Well, let's talk for real. Let's get off chat and have a conversation. What's easier for you? If I send you a Zoom link, can you jump on it? No, I can't do it right now. All right, great. Well, let me send you a couple times and you choose the one that works. Let's get something on the book so we can talk soon. Now you can have a real conversation, ask her questions, find out what her goals are, find out what she needs, and then give her the solution, which is going to be your Modere business. Does it make sense? So that's a share. The conversations we start are leading to a share. Now, she could have been like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. When I said, hey, let me know if you'd like to learn more, have any friends or family that need this. Okay, great. I'll keep that in mind. All right, no problem. Okay. What do I do with that person? Nothing. She's in Teamzy. When she comes up in a month or 2, I'll message her again. It's been a while since I checked in, Steph. How the heck are you? And start the conversation again. Each conversation gets warmer. What happens with the conversations, though, is because we're wired this way, as soon as she's done chatting with me, which is something special, doesn't happen all day. What is she doing? She's on my social media pages. She's looking at my website. She's looking at Modere. She's interested now. Why? Because I took interest in her. I didn't even have to tell her to go look at it. This is what they're going to do. What you'll find is you'll message somebody and they'll be like, oh, great to hear from you. Even the conversations that fizzle out really quick, you'll see them liking your things on social. Maybe not commenting, but you'll see the little hearts appear. And you're like, wow, they're really engaging with me. Next time you message them, you'll be amazed how different that conversation will be. This is the process. Are you guys with me? But in my example, she said, yes, I want more info. Great. So now I'm going to actually talk to her and share with her. So we've shared. And so let me show you how to log that share in Teamzy and set her on my follow-ups list. And then we'll do Q&A. So she's not on my dashboard anymore. So I got to look her up. I look her up in the lookup bar. That brings me to her. And then I'm going to open up the connect box. And I'm going to log, let's say we did a Zoom. So I'm going to log that as a video chat. I'm going to put all the notes. from our Zoom in Teamzy. Usually I'll take notes while we're talking and just ask them, hey, do you mind if I take notes while we talk? I want to make sure I get all the answers, get everything down so I can serve you best. They usually say yes. So I do it as we go, which is great. And then right here, you're going to click on share. See where it says share on the bottom left? That takes it off the default, which is just connecting. And then you can say, okay, well, I shared the business opportunity. So I'm going to click on that. And as soon as I switch that to business opportunity, it immediately created a follow-up in 2 days. You see that? It defaulted. Now, that's the default to save you in case you forget, but you can change it to whatever date you want. So I would usually typically follow up the next day. So I'll change it to tomorrow. And then I log that. And you can see on her activity feed, there's all of our messages and there's a follow-up scheduled. Okay. So if I go over here to my dashboard, a couple things you'll notice is that I have a share logged. And if I go to my follow-ups list, there's Steph due tomorrow. Simple. Now, tomorrow when I do my power hour, I prospect customer social marketers. Then I see if I have any follow-ups due. She'll be due for a follow-up. I'll send her a message. It's exactly like a regular connect. It takes 2 seconds to do a follow-up. I'll go to scripts. I'm going to get a follow-up number 1. There it is, follow-up number 1. Hi, Jane, just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Copy the script. So easy, you guys, see? This really takes all this thinking and worrying out. Send her the message. There she is. Send her this message. Follow-up done. And then when I log this in Teamzy, I'll show you this real quick and we'll do questions. Teamzy is going to say, okay, did this complete the follow-up you had scheduled? Yes, I'm going to leave that checked, but I want to add another follow-up. So I'm going to add a follow-up, let's say next Tuesday. I don't know, whenever you want to set it. You can leave yourself a note. That means follow-up number 2, by the way, not FU2. It's depending on where you're from. All right, just clarifying that. Okay, so I've created that follow-up. So now when I complete this, it completes today's follow-up, sets the new one. Now she's due again on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'll send her follow-up number 2. Okay, now, real quick on this. If you go into the Teamzy scripts, you'll see there's follow-up number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in order. Why do I have 10 follow-ups? Because 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. Okay, so if you guys are following up 2 or 3 times, you're giving up 80% of your opportunity. Big deal, right? Now, is there anybody who's a little concerned that, man, if I follow up 10 times, I'm going to be annoying? And I thought this was not being annoying system. So it's really simple. To follow up without being annoying is very easy. So there's a couple principles to it, and I've already incorporated these into my scripts. So there's 2 principles to not being annoying when you follow up. Number 1 is you just don't ask them to do anything in the follow-up. So don't say, I need you to respond. I need you to message me. I need you to RSVP for my event or finish your, just don't ask anything of them. Just be there like, hey, checking in on you. Okay. The second principle is make sure it's short enough they can read the whole message on the lock screen of the phone, because they're not going to open it most of the time. They don't want to open it if they're not prepared to respond right now and look like a jerk, but they're always going to read it. So you want them to see it on the lock screen. They're going to see it. They're going to get it. And it's in their mind. Does this make sense? So what happens is you message, they're excited. You know, Steph's excited. Great. I'm follow up tomorrow, check and see if you have any questions. I go and check the back office. She didn't sign up. She didn't do squat. Message her. She doesn't respond. A few days later, I message her again. She doesn't respond. A few days later, I message her again. She doesn't respond. This is where I start to make up stories. Well, why she's not responding is, oh, I saw on Instagram she is, right? That's fake. The reason she's not responding is she's not thinking about me 24/7 like I'm thinking about her. She's her life. She got off the call with me. She went back to her life. So I messaged her. She's in the middle of, you know, preparing raw chicken for dinner. She's not going to touch her phone with those fingers, those chicken fingers on it, right? She looks over at it though, looks at the message. She thinks, oh yeah, I got to message him. When I'm done, right? She's driving her car, can't respond. So what's happening when they don't respond is their life is just happening. They're not ghosting you. Okay. The only person who's ghosting you is the weirdo on Tinder, right? They're not ghosting you. I don't know. I saw that in a movie. I don't even know what it is. I've been married 15 years. Thank God. That's all I have to say. For you single people, God bless you. I hope you get out of that quickly. Okay, so my point is you got to keep going. Most people won't respond to the first 5 or 6 follow-ups. So once you understand that, don't get hurt about it. Just keep moving. But following up is how you show your love for them. Following up shows your commitment to your word. It shows the fulfillment of your promise. When you said, yeah, I want to help you. I have a solution for you. I think I can help. It's your commitment to follow up until you can help them. Does this make sense? So if you give up because you think they're ghosting you after 3, you're telling them I didn't care about you. All that stuff I told you about wanting to help you and change your life. Like, I really just wanted this $25 commission, right? Okay. Just on a little side note, this is an objection I used to get, which was like, you just want to make this commission. You guys ever get that objection? I love this. I love that one because this is what I used to say. Look, Steph, you're right. If you make this purchase, I'll make a commission. And be honest with you, I'm 100% grateful for that because that's how I make a living. But your $30, the $30 commission I make on the sale, though it's going to be appreciative and I'll be grateful for it, it's not going to change my life. The reason I just spent an hour with you is because I believe this purchase could change yours. So either way, I'm good to go, but I'm here to help you. Does this make sense? So you just like, you got to come from your heart with everything you do, be consistent, and it works. Teamzy is going to help you connect, start conversations. The second thing you do to be in momentum is you continue conversations you've started toward a share. The third thing you do is you share. And the fourth thing you do is you follow up on shares. If you get to a place and if you start using Teamzy within the 2-week trial, you'll get to the place where you're doing all 4 every day. When you're doing all 4 of those things every day, you're in momentum. This business can only be built in a state of momentum. It cannot be built just a little bit at a time. That doesn't work. If you bring on 1 new customer a month, your business won't grow. You're just going to have the same number of customers year over year. It's just, it needs momentum. Are you with me? Okay, real quick on this, then we'll do Q&A. I know I talked too long. Is it okay? Did I do all right? Was it beneficial? Okay, I know I tend to over deliver. Okay, let me pull this up. Let's see here. Every time I do one of these for Steph, that gets longer. So just to kind of reiterate what we're talking about, one is the Teamzy CRM with the built-in Power Hour. Okay, this is what you'll be using every day. You'll be able to find every contact, every customer, every conversation. It has the intelligent module built in to crush your Power Hour, so you don't have to plan, you don't have to think. You just get in there and follow the prompts and go for it, right? You'll be able to view and track leads as you go. You'll be able to get your team motivated. There's some really cool team report things in here, which we didn't get into today, but you guys can dig around and see that. You'll be able to track performance as you go. Also built into Teamzy is my scripts library. So this is in here. It's not additional. We don't charge extra for it. We probably should, but we don't. It's in here. And so if you're not sure what to say, there's over 100 scripts in here that I've written for you. They're designed for Facebook Messenger, text, any type of touch point. These are conversation starters. They're not cheesy sales scripts. Okay. Follow-up scripts, reconnecting scripts. They're all in there for you to use. There's even scripts to help you start writing a personal handwritten card to somebody. Yeah. The other thing that's cool is you can create your own scripts and save them in your Teamzy account so they're there at your fingertips when you want to use them. So you can modify them, you can create your own. I used to do I had all these emails that I saved in Teamzy as scripts. And so when I did a follow-up email, it was in there where I didn't have to rewrite it. It was just like grab script, which was, this product line information, boom, send. Pretty cool. Also, I want you guys to know that when you get into Teamzy, I mentioned that I do training courses. Has this training been beneficial? So imagine if I could get my claws into you for 6 weeks on a training course, right? But beyond the boot camps and things that we do, I actually have a boot camp that's open registration right now. If any of you are interested in doing that, you can check out teamzy.com/bootcamp. It's open registration this week. That's a 6-week training. But in addition to those, in Teamzy, this one I feel really strongly about. So I put it in here at no additional cost, the Ultimate Mindset Training Suite. And there's, I think, 5 trainings in here with workbooks that you can follow through, videos with me and fill in these workbooks. But we teach you things like goal setting on steroids, I say. You have to be over 40 to get the on steroids thing, but goal setting on steroids. Okay, so we'll teach you how to visualize your big, hairy, audacious goals. Those are the ones that your spouse laughs at when you tell them out loud. We've got the SMART goals, which are the goals that you'll achieve this year in 2022. And then we'll also help you create a daily business standard for your business. Okay, so those are in there. We have a training on how to uncover your why, which is hugely important. If you don't know your why and don't have it written down, you'll likely quit. Right? Same thing for your team members. Make sure that they get through this training and get their why down quickly. And also more training on relationship marketing. I skipped past it too quick, but that was the next piece. So that's in there too, included. Now, a couple of action steps. I want you guys to make sure you get your 14-day free trial set up at teamzy.com. Okay. I used to give a 30-day free trial, and then we discovered that if people didn't use it in 14 days, they didn't use it in 17 days. So get in there and do it. Get it set up. If you're already in a free trial, make sure you set up your subscription, because it'll just expire, because we don't take your credit card or anything, right? So make sure you get it set up. We have a real special offer going right now for Modere, 1/3 off the regular price. Yeah, pretty cool. So Teamzy's $29.99 a month, so $1 a day. $1 a day is nothing, right, to take care of all this. But right now it's 1/3 off that, so it's $19.95 a month. Yeah, $19.95 a month. Or if you won't go for 12 months at a time, you can get 12 months for $198, which brings it down to even cheaper than that, right? So take advantage of that. And if you lock in your subscription at this special price, it'll be grandfathered at that price. We won't ever raise it on you. Okay. Also, make sure that you join the community Facebook, Teamzy community Facebook group. When you log in, you'll see community, click it, and it'll take you to the Facebook group. It's a great place to synergize, ask questions, connect with other people. I also recommend you get a success partner for the next 30 days. Okay, get a success partner, see what kind of, the success partner is somebody who's going to hold you accountable to actually doing your Teamzy. You're going to share your screenshots of your Teamzy dashboard when you're done with each other. This is so powerful. If you get a success partner or two, groups of 3 is great, right? What do they say? The triple braided cord is hard to break. So groups of 3 are great. What happens is you guys will have an amazing month. If you don't get a success partner, you'll log in once or twice. You'll get a bunch of emails from me. You'll wish you did it and you didn't. Right? Anybody relate to that? Yeah. Okay. Last thing I'm going to give you is a 5-day challenge. 5-day challenge. I want you guys to connect with 100 people in 5 days. So just use Teamzy 5 days in a row, message 20 people a day. That's it. Can you do it? If you do it, it's going to blow your mind. This won't be theoretical anymore. You'll be seeing, excuse me, the incredible amount of responses come in. And you'll never believe the excuses that you maybe have told yourself in the past. Like, it's a slow time or nothing's happening. You won't believe excuses your team members give you, because you know that in 5 days, you could overwhelm your phone with messages. Okay. Are you guys in? Who's in? 5-day challenge. Okay, great. All right. I'm going to stop talking because I almost have no voice, but if you guys have questions, what I want you guys to do is just go ahead and unmute and ask away.
Also, you guys are responsible for your own success partners, because I've already done that a couple times. How is that working out? So it's awesome. Monica already signed up for the 6-week boot camp, and she just said, yeah, I saw your video. I didn't even know I was in a video. So that's super cute. But I did the 6-week boot camp, obviously. And I actually gained a couple of people to my team from that, because there's people from different companies, obviously, in those boot camps, and not like I was there. Actually, Eric, somebody came to Eric and said, hey, I'm just not really doing well in my business, like and he sent somebody to me, and then a couple other people. So not that you're going there to take anybody, but you'll make other connections that are amazing. But I mean, Kristen and I have said this before too. I've told you this when I first started with Beachbody. I spent thousands of dollars on trainings and, personal development and all of that stuff. And with what is coming from Modere and the business, where I know that you guys want to go, you're going to have some skin in the game. Kristen and I asked you to commit to something. We're not going to tell you just now, just because this went a little long, but we're going to go live either today or tomorrow. But I think if we do the 5-day challenge starting March 1st, we'll do it together. 100 connects in 5 days, and that would just jumpstart you. It's really unexplainable, you guys. If you did 5 days in a row and you connected with 100 people, your pipeline is already on the go. It will bring you success for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, don't tell people I'm sending people to your team. I'll get me in trouble.
I know, but
That was just a random thing. They were quitting their company and they wanted to.
they were quitting. Yeah,
They were a
yeah.
perfect fit for you. Just like I told you, I'm going to introduce you to Mindy today.
But it's
Because you guys
great
will
to
be
connect
friends.
with other people that are on, and that's why you guys, when I made you guys little pods and success partners, it's, you know, sometimes it's hard for you to relate like to an upline or, you know, whatever. So when you find those little groups of people, the whole intention is that you're not going to let the other person down, or you're not that you're not going to let them down, but you're not going to let them, you know, slack on themselves. Like that's the whole point.
Right.
So I suggest the 6-week, and I definitely suggest utilizing your little pod.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested in boot camp, it's teamzy.com/bootcamp. It's just under $200. Used to be 300. So that was our pandemic relief program. If you guys want to do that for 6 weeks, it's unreal. It's really good. And basically it's kind of like this training, but what we do is I have 2 trainings a week that unlock, one on Monday, one on Wednesday. And there's workbooks that you follow along in different aspects of relationship marketing. We take you through the whole process. We go in deep on how to have the conversation, how to ask for the sale, how to share your business. Like we go through all that kind of stuff. And then we also do a couple of lives. It's not just me, it's also my business partner, Mike Lopez, who's amazing. So check it out. All the information's there. I'm not here to pitch that, but for a few of you who want to just really rock it, it's great. And that registration closes Monday. So you got to be in by Monday, or you have to wait a couple months for the next one. I will just say, somebody asked, when do we have to sign up by for the $19.95 rate? That's not one of those things that expiring today. You must. So right now we've got it set for Modere. It's limited time, but it's not expiring right away. So you're good to go. You can think about it for a minute, but definitely get in there, guys, and get into the 14-day free trial and try it out for sure. I will tell you this, 7 years have been in the business. When we started, there was nobody. Since then, we've had people come and try to copy pieces of it, and they have, a lot of them have not made it, because it's not just the actions you take, it's the heart with which you do it. Right. And it's true for my business, and it's true for your business. So, so I encourage you guys to get in there and just, again, bring your heart, bring the system, combine it with the heart, and watch the results come in. It's going to be great. Does anyone else have any other questions before I go? I know I got to jump onto another meeting too.
I have a quick question, Eric. Thank you so much for your time, by the way. I'm always inspired watching your videos.
My pleasure.
So your kind heart has always come through so clearly. I'm just curious, what kind of personal development things do you like to listen to and read, and to fuel up on that?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if I zoomed in on the bookshelf behind me, there's so many. For me, personal development started with Zig Ziglar. Have you read any of his books? So my dad gave me a Zig Ziglar book when I was 11. I had to do a speech on optimism for school, and I didn't even know what the word meant. My dad goes, "Oh, well, here's the book on optimism." He gave me a Zig Ziglar book. It was called See You at the Top. And he's like the original positive thinking guru. Kind of long story short, I actually met Zig Ziglar when I was 30. And I still have that original 1985 edition of his book, and he signed it for me, which is really cool. He's no longer with us, but I've read everything you can imagine on personal growth and development. I guess it just depends on where you want to be. I think the most important thing is understanding this basic principle, which is that you were created to be magnificent. And anything that's telling you any other message than that is bad programming, right? And we have to overcome that bad programming. We're made to be magnificent. And so that's really the goal of personal development, is to unlock your magnificence, right? And it's different for all of us. I think in this business, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm kind of a wimp. I'm not a courageous salesperson. I hate rejection. And I don't know if you guys can relate. I mean, I've always done well in sales, but I've always been kind of the weirdo that doesn't do it the way I was told. To me, it's like, I do believe that I have something to share. And when I want to shut down, I think to myself, I can't not withhold this blessing from this person. Does this make sense? And so that is what you've got to kind of get out of your way and say, okay, I need to reach out. I need to talk to this person because I have a blessing for them and I need to share it with them. And when you come from this place, this is probably, you probably just wanted a book list, but when you come from this place, it shines through, and people don't receive it as, oh, this person's trying to sell me. It's not that, you know, but I also couldn't sell you file folders, you know, unless you could convince me that they were the most amazing file folders and they were going to change people's lives. I think probably I would have trouble. In fact, when we looked at expanding Teamzy to other networks, we have this little new market spreadsheet where it has like questions we have to answer. The first question is transformative product, yes or no? Because it needs to be transformative for me to get my heart into it, to teach it. Does that make sense? So anyways, I think personal growth and development is amazing. Podcasts, books, I could give you a bunch of recommendations, but it has to be based on, at least from my perspective, from the fact that we're created to be magnificent, because I don't believe you can draw power from within you. I believe it needs to be drawn from a higher power. Does that make sense? So that's my filter for personal growth and development, is if it's like self-actualization type stuff, it turns me off because I know that my power can't come from me, right? That I'm kind of pathetic and weak and broken. So that's just me. Now, so again, I'm not here to preach, but some of the personal growth and development stuff comes from that kind of that perspective. So just stay grounded in what's real and what's true. And there's some great authors out there. There are some really great, there are some books that I love that are from people who don't get that. Like they don't get that there's a higher power and there's still good meat. Like the old Irish proverb is, you eat the meat, spit out the bones. So if you're able to do that, that's good. Like one of my favorite authors ever is Simon Sinek. And there's a lot of bones when I read his book that I have to spit out, but I keep the important stuff because he understands the stuff that a leader has to love and protect his or her team, as opposed to like, you know. So anyways, if you're in boot camp, right?
I am, yes. I'm really excited.
So Monday, it might already be unlocked, but my book list for boot camp is there, and there's like 60 titles.
Okay, great. Yeah, I look forward to looking through that. I also meant to ask, this can be like another time because I don't want to tie up this time from somebody else, but I'm having trouble printing some of the workbooks. Is that a Chrome thing, or should I just like, I don't know.
It's probably
I'll just try it on another browser. Yeah, I'll try it. Sorry about that.
If you really can't do it, just send a message to our help desk and they'll email you the PDF and you can print it.
Thank you. Sorry. And thank you so much for that answer. Very thoughtful.
I over deliver. I used to have a boss. Actually, he's not my boss anymore, but he's still a Teamzy partner, Mike Lopez. He used to say, over delivery is a disease, Eric, and you're infected. He used to always tell me that. He was my boss and be like, you did too much. You did too much. I don't need you to do more than this. He used to like set the bar. How many of you guys have that issue? That's me. All right. One more question, then I really have to go because I've got a meeting with my team, but since I'm the boss, I just mess with them so that I'm late. So they have to deal with it. Anyone else? Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And I will see you, Steph, on Wednesday.
Yes, so excited.
Okay.
Yay.
Hi, everyone. God bless. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, ladies. Bye, guys.